I'm Bel Hernandez Castillo, and welcome to the second season of Inside with Bel. Inside with Bel isn't just another talk show. Here we go beyond the red carpets, the Hollywood headlines, and the LA stories. We dive into the backgrounds and the passions and the journeys that shape the people who make the news and make things happen. In each episode, I sit down with guests you know and ones you should know. We also interview trendsetters, innovators, and the Angelinos of influence making the news. Together, we uncover the backstory, the challenges, the triumphs, and the moments that make them who they are today. So, if you love entertainment, love LA, and behind-the-scenes stories, join me for every episode of Inside with Bel, because here you don't just watch the story, you experience it. My guest today is actor Rudy Ramos. If you're a fan of Westerns and the TV series Yellowstone in particular, then you know who I'm talking about. Rudy was born and raised in Lawton, Oklahoma, and he identifies as a Native American from the Aztec indigenous people. When Ramos was about 10 years old, his family moved to the north side of Lawton, which is a mile from the Fort Sill Reservation, where Geronimo, the military leader and medicine man of the Apache Nation, lived the last 15 years of his life. Geronimo became one of Ramos's childhood heroes. But in Hollywood, film, and TV, Geronimo was portrayed as a fearsome, savage villain. Heroic Native American characters were hard to find in Hollywood back then. And if there were roles, they were rarely portrayed by real Native Americans, because out of the 62,224 speaking roles in 16 years, only 133 went to Native American actors. The Native American population was 1.3% of the US population, and 99% of Hollywood films featured 0 Native American female-identified speaking characters. One leading actor out of 1,600 films was Native American. That equates to less than 0.25% of all speaking characters. And yet, 2 of Rudy's most notable roles include a Native American character. The first, Wind, in the 1970s hit TV show The High Chaparral, one of the most acclaimed Westerns of its era, and most recently, his gig starring alongside Kevin Costner in the hit TV show Yellowstone, which ran for 5 seasons. So stay tuned for my interview with actor Rudy Ramos. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Rudy Ramos is an American actor whose acting career has spanned over 6 decades, including some of your most wonderful, cherished programs like recently Yellowstone. But he started off early on, and we're going to find out all about his career because he is with us today. And I want to welcome you, Rudy Ramos, to Inside with Bel.
Well, thank you, Bel. It's a pleasure to be here.
You've done over 80 guest starring roles on episodic television and appearances on iconic films like Helter Skelter, Defiance. You played a badass in Defiance. You've done Beverly Hills Cop, so you've kind of had comedy films as well. Let's take a look at some of your work.
Just to show you some of us, we don't miss what we aim at. Well, sir, I guess that proves we can both hit rocks in the air. Not much else, though, does it?
Me and her, we're in a band. She like me, I don't like her. Talking about when it comes to sex.
Right.
I'm in her apartment having a beer, and here she come out the room in this little red outfit and some lotion. And she asks me, will I give her a massage? And I say, no. Only time my hands touch her naked body would be if I'm falling out the window and ain't nothing else to hold on to. Do you know where he is now?
Who?
Valdez! You took a bullet out of him. A bullet I put there.
Hey, take it
Touching his hand is punishable by death. Love. You love my daughter. I never heard of you till 20 minutes ago.
I did.
You knew about this guy?
This guy is going to marry your daughter.
What did you say?
I'm going to marry Olivia.
Let me tell you something. I don't care if you're Oscar de la goddamn Hoya. You are not marrying my daughter.
Oh, man, this is tough. You know, we could walk a little bit on our feet, and nobody would know.
God would know.
You're one of those, huh?
God damn it. I just don't see how anyone gains from all this, Felix.
I don't either, but he don't think like me. Grew up in Denver, went to some big university. Now he thinks like you. I'll keep him here as long as I can, John.
That's an amazing body of work. But where did that dream come from of being an actor? You were born in Oklahoma. So did you always have that dream of, I want to go to Hollywood and be an actor?
No, I never even thought about it. I was graduated high school, went to Cameron Junior College in Oklahoma on a basketball scholarship. I didn't see a future for me in Oklahoma, so I just wanted to go, to California. My brother was living there, just to see what else was going on. So I came to California and stayed with my brother for a while, and then I got a job. I got a job in a shoe store.
That was like your first job here in Hollywood. Not acting, but to get by before you got that big break, right?
Yeah, selling shoes, and to me that was the big break.
There's something for people to understand, that you don't just come to Hollywood and become a star. You spend months just being in that class, kind of figuring what that was. So then, how did you jump into the audition process?
I did get an interview. And it was not, the agent that I had was not really an agent. He just had an office, and he was a cop, retired. His wife was a good lady, and she was a good agent. And she got me the interview because they were having trouble casting that role of Wind in the High Chaparral. So she got me an interview. I went to see the casting director, Milt Hammerman, one morning, and we read together. And it was really good. And he said, "Can you come back this afternoon?" I said, "Sure." So I came back in the afternoon. We went over to another building, went into this office, and it was Mr. David Dortork, who created Bonanza and High Chaparral. So we read for him, and I could see something was going on in his mind. So when I finished the read, Mr. Dortort asked me if I would step out into the office just for a few minutes. And about 2-3 minutes later, they called me back in, and he said, how soon can you get to Tucson, Arizona? 1 week later, I was in Tucson, Arizona, doing my first episode of the High Chaparral, playing Wind.
You had only done one other role before that, which was in Ironside, correct?
I did one scene.
That was the start of your career.
Yeah.
And more recently, another major role, again, Native American in High Chaparral and Native American in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
So you actually had a need to put Native American characters on the map, and also on your creative endeavors. Tell us about Geronimo, which is a one-man show that you actually started. And it was, where did that dream come from, and why did it become a reality? As
a kid, we always heard about Geronimo in the newspapers, and his last 15 years of his life, he was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which was connected to Lawton, Oklahoma. So that's where he spent his last 15 years as a prisoner of war in his own country. How about that? So I didn't really realize how unfair he had been treated until I got older. And then I started reading stuff that was not, I didn't get that in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma history, they never mentioned anything about natives at all, unless it was bad. They were the bad guys. And I started saying it wasn't. So I just always had a love for Geronimo.
You continue to up and to represent Native Americans in the most wonderful way. I saw the show. It was amazing. And it was stories that you don't hear truthfully, because most of the Hollywood movies, they always represented him as an evil, horrible person.
Oh
And
yeah.
so when you see this, you understand why he did some of the things that he did.
You know,
So
Bel,
that's an
yeah.
iconic character that you were able to bring to life.
Yeah, and you know, all I ever wanted with this is I just wanted to give Geronimo a voice that he never had, a voice that he deserved, and I think I did because he
Hmm.
was given you need to see the show. You don't need to see the show, but you know, it's also a very good educational show too.
Everybody needs to see a good show, and yours was a good show. So yes,
Well,
everybody needs to see this show because it was amazing.
I've done a lot of Latinos role too,
Oh
more
yes,
that
oh yes.
more Latino works than the natives. I just got lucky with the natives thing, but you know, I did a lot. That's a lot, a lot,
Well,
and movies
one
too.
of the role. I mean, you've done stage and you've done movies and you've done TV. Latinos playing Latinos. I
Yeah.
mean, one of the biggest roles that you've done that you played a badass, which was in Defiance.
He wanted no part of their problem.
You're finished, big man. You're dead.
Tell us about
Yes.
that role. What was that
No.
role?
Defiance was shot in New York, and this guy, Angel Cruz, uh, was a street guy, and he had this little group that just terrorized everybody on the East Side. But I loved that part because even though he was the villain of the piece, at a certain point you started to like that guy, and that was because of what I gave it to him. And the director told me that too, and he said that one scene was really great. They had to cut it in half, and the director and the producer came and they told me we're going to have to cut that. And I went, why? That's my best scene. And he said, because you're starting to like this guy, and you're not supposed to like this guy. And I had never heard that before, but I guess that's the movies.
I wanted to go forward to another iconic Native American character that you played in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
First, tell us about how you landed the role and what it was like working with Kevin Costner.
I just went in and auditioned just like everybody else did. And I really thought that Wes Studi or Graham Greene would probably get that part because when I got the sides, I read, like 6 pages of sides, 2 scenes, and I had never read anything that good. I mean, it was just exquisite. And I got real excited. But, I knew, they're both Academy Award nominees. So I thought, well, I had been doing my Geronimo show. They didn't know anything about it. So I was sharp and I was confident. And I went in and I did my read. And on my way home, my agent called me. She said, Rudy, they really like you. They want to see you again next week. And I said, on my way home. So I came back the next week. I had another, 5-6 days to work on it. And, by the time I read again, well, I was already that character. And when I went into the office this time, there was about 20 people in there. And I've been around long enough to know when there's 20 people in there, something's about to jump off. So I did my reading. I read both scenes. And when I said my last line, I heard somebody say, yep, that's it. I guess I was the right person at the right time, just like Chaparral. So
You
I got
sure
it.
were. 5
Mhm.
seasons and beloved. They just love. People couldn't get enough of it. How was it working on the set, and in particular with Kevin Costner?
I loved working with Kevin. We became good friends, through those 7 years that we did those 5 things. He's really easy to get along with. He, you know, in Yellowstone, I probably was the oldest one in the beginning, but they were just wonderful, and everything was 3 cameras, and I had never done 3 cameras, so you never knew where you were, so you just stayed where you were and just did it. We were there to bring those beautiful words that Taylor Sheridan wrote to life, and we did that. There was never any fights, any trouble on set. It was the best of the best ever that I've done in my 56 years in this business. So it was a real treat. I would say that was my favorite thing I've ever done, but Geronimo is the best thing I've ever done. But I did some good work on Yellowstone.
Oh, yes. And let's take a look at some of that good work.
The nation will keep the cattle. Your father will try to take them back. He has every right. We had every right to take them. So now we will fight.
It's his fight, not mine.
You will be judged for the actions of your father. If you do nothing, you will be judged for that too. They all will. Maybe it's best you go home for a while, eh?
This is my home.
You know what I mean.
I've been nothing but a friend to everybody here. If somebody wants me to leave, you can tell them to come make me.
Pretty silly thing to say on a reservation.
One thing I think about sometimes, I thought about it the last episode of Yellowstone, is that I started out on High Chaparral on the world stage. And as we were doing my last episode about a year ago, I was thinking, this could be the last thing that I do. I don't know. But if it is, I'm on the world stage again. So I started on the world stage, and I may end on the world stage. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just waiting for something, in my heart, the garden of my heart, to say what I'm going to do next.
You're already doing something else. You've already done an independent film that you want to tell us about, please, so that we can look for it.
Yes, I do. I've got little stuff here. It's called Sod and Stubble, and it's a story about the 1800s and hardships that people lived.
We're all travelers in this weary world. Some of us on the road to salvation, some on the road to ruin.
And it was written by a man by the name of Ken Spurgeon, and he wrote it and he directed it. And it stars Barry Corbin, who is in everything,
right?
And Bailey Chase, who was one of the stars of Longmire. Buck Taylor, and there's a lady in there. Her name is Dodie Brown, wow. And she's not known yet, but she's gonna be known. It's on Roku, Amazon, and Amazon Prime right now. And Apple TV soon. And
hey, everyone, please go see Rudy in
Sod and Stubble.
Another project that we can watch of yours, which is Geronimo. You actually taped it, and we can go and see it if we. What do we have to do to see it?
Yes, it was streamed. It was my last show, and there was no audience at all because of the COVID, and that's why I stopped doing Geronimo, because of the COVID. But the guy at the White Pirate Theater where you saw it asked me if I would do one more, and he told me that there was not going to be any audience at all. It was just going to, and I said, I don't know, because you saw the show. I really feed off my my audience. And then about 5 seconds later, I thought, but that's a big challenge. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. So we did it.
Those Indians don't know how to fight. They are brave and fierce, but they fought out in the open like white men. That is a good way to get killed. Our way is better. We use the rocks and the brush to hide behind. And if we start to lose, we run away. He is here on the reservation, you know. A lot of other tribes are here too. Kiowa, Comanche, Choctaw, Seminole, Kickapoo, and more. Hello! My name is Geronimo, and I am famous. Would you like to have my autograph? 2 bits. I also sell bows and arrows that I have made, and many other things you can take home from your vacation.
They had to wait till he turned himself in.
It was streamed all over the country, and when I walked off that stage that night, I told Kathy, and it was probably the best one I ever did, and I hadn't done it in about 6 or 8 months. I said, I think that might have been the last one. And so far it has. But people, when I go to these autograph signing things, they say, God, I wish you would have come to my town. I would have loved to have seen it. But you can see it, because instead of taking the money that the owner of the theater was going to split with me, I let him keep the money. I didn't want it. I gave it back to the theater. But he said, okay, I will take that. But I'm going to give you a link to the show, and it's yours to do whatever you want. So when I'm at these shows, people say they would have loved to seen it. I'd say, do you have a computer? If you got a computer, give Kathy, my wife, your email, and I will send you the link, and it's yours to keep, no charge. And if you like it, then please share it with your friends, because that's all I ever wanted to do, is tell Geronimo's story.
So if you want to see this story, if you would like to see this story, how do they get their email to you so that you could send them a link?
They can get me on Instagram, or they can get me on Facebook. All you got to do at Facebook is just put my name in. On Instagram, it's just Rudy Ramos 63, and then you can get on, and then just send me a message, and we'll get it to you. We'll get it to you the same day. It's just what I just said.
What a treat. Thank you so much, Rudy, for coming. What a wonderful, rich interview with so much history about so many characters and so many shows. And this is your life. And this has been an amazing, and we didn't even, get into everything. We just touched the very, very tip. And
you know what?
I'm so honored to know you and have met you a while back while we were doing a play.
That's true. We barely touched the surface there, but thank you so much for inviting me to this show. I love this show. I watch it every Sunday. So
thank you for watching.
I watched it when there was 2 girls. Now what you're doing is you just made it yours. And I'm enjoying watching the growth that you've made in this show, because I started watching it in the very beginning when it was two ladies. And then you've taken it and you're making it yours with Kiki. And you got something going up, up, up all the time, getting bigger and bigger, bigger. And that's what we have to do as Latinos and Indians and Blacks and Asians. We got to do it ourselves, because the studios are not going to do it for you. I've been around here all of 56, 57 years, and the studios just won't do it. They think there's no room for an audience. Not true. Puro pedo. Not true. There's an audience for this. There's an audience for what Kiki's doing too, with the documentary that he's got. But you guys have done it yourselves. That's what we got to do. So do it.
Welcome back. What an amazing career Rudy has had for over 60 years. He has undoubtedly impacted the representation of Native American roles on both the big and small screens. Native American roles were scarce back then, but there has been more development of characters and stories that are more inclusive, which means more work for Native American actors. The actors are getting more complex, giving the actors good roles that they can sometimes use to lead to be nominated for the Ultimate Acting Award, the Academy Award. And here are a few standout stories throughout the years. Actor Jay Silverheels one of the most noticeable and first indigenous actors to find success in film. He starred in the prominent role of Tonto in the TV series The Lone Ranger back in the 50s, a big change from just the small Indian roles he played. The film Dances with Wolves, which starred Kevin Costner, is praised for representing Native Americans as individuals with depth and portraying their culture with unprecedented accuracy. It featured dozens of Native American actors, including prominent names like Graham Greene, Wes Studi, and Tonto Cardinal. The film also cast an outstanding number of 250 Native Americans overall. Killers of the Flower Moon, directed by Martin Scorsese in 2023, features many Native actors, including Lily Gladstone, who was nominated for Best Actress in a Leading Role, the first nomination in history for a Native American actress. The film additionally also cast 63 roles from an open call they did. Amazing. That's what I call progress. I'm Bel Hernandez Castillo signing off. We invite you to join us on our next episode of Inside with Bel.